let's be honest about Sony for a second. Now, the state of play just concluded about a couple of days ago. I think maybe by the time I put this video out, it'll be about a week ago that state of play came out. And it was basically a whole bunch of nothing. We got a couple of game announcements, the biggest one being Ghost of Yotei, and that looks like it's going to be pretty good. But outside of that, we didn't really get any brand new games or any good remasters. It kind of just was a nothing fest. And with the news of Sony saying that they don't have any IPs to remaster, even though that's a blatant lie, I just feel like Sony at this point is really being lazy. Because of all the game companies to say that they don't have any original IPs to go off of, or to remaster, or to remake, Sony is the wrong company to say that shit. At this point, I just feel like Sony is being lazy.
Now a word from our sponsors.
Hi, before using Dubby, I was a father of 12. But now, after Dubby, I'm a deadbeat dad. Oh, brother, this guy stinks! Let's see what we got in here for the Dubby. Dubby. We got the motherfucking... We got the motherfucking... We got the motherfucking... Oh, shit. So the first flavor of Dubby, we have peach and beet. You what? Second flavor of Dubby, we got the dragon mayo. Next flavor we have laxative. What? Oh, laxy grenade. Next flavor we have this is a zero sugar powder pack. And last but certainly not least, we have Heinz Berry Splash. I'm Wasabi, and this has been your Dubby advertisement.
Because honestly, even just the idea that Sony doesn't have any original IPs that they could, remake or remaster games on, or even just make sequels or trilogies for is laughable. Like, it's actually laughable. Because Sony is like the exact opposite. They have so many franchises to choose from that it doesn't make sense on why they don't capitalize on remastering any of those titles that they have, from the PlayStation 2, the PS3, hell, even the PlayStation 4. And honestly, especially since the PlayStation 5 nor the PlayStation Pro goes back to at the bare minimum on the PlayStation 3, or not even the PlayStation 2, at the bare minimum, Sony could at least work with us and remaster some of the games. Hell, I don't know how many times they sold the Uncharted collection with Uncharted 1 through 4 and the DLC. They sold that throughout the entirety of the PS4's lifespan. They could remaster some of the old God of War games. So, hell, some of the old Devil May Cry games could get a remaster on PlayStation. I don't know why they're acting like they just have nothing, because I can think of 5 off the top of my head. Jak and Daxter, from what I know, Jak and Daxter hasn't had a remaster or a remake. Little Big Planet, Shadow of Colossus, any of the old Devil May Cry games, or Devil May Cry 1 through 4 doesn't have any remasters or remakes. Like Sly Cooper, none of these games, which are popular as hell on the PlayStation, none of these games have any remaster or remakes. Or hell, you can even just make a new one. Shit, they made a Devil May Cry 5 5 years ago, so why not just make a Devil May Cry 6 at this point? It's I don't understand when they say that they don't have any IPs. They have IPs, they're just being lazy and spending $400 million on Concord. That's what actually happened. They tried to experiment with Concord, which they put all their resources to for almost a decade, and almost half a billion dollars. Almost $500 million was put into Concord just for that shit to fall flat on his face and nobody fucking play it. Because as far as I know, especially right now, since it doesn't seem like Sony is planning on releasing any brand new IPs outside of, maybe some sequels and maybe, bringing some indie games to a console, I don't see why not, remaster and remake a bunch of beloved fan games, or just bring back a lot of old IPs, because you're not gonna make the PS5 backwards compatible for PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games. You're not gonna do that. So at the bare minimum, you basically can just print yourself free money by remastering all of the games that people love. Because if Sony announced tomorrow that Little Big Planet, the entire trilogy, was getting a remake or a remaster, that's instant money. If Jak and Daxter was getting a remake, instant money. Same thing with something like Shadow of Colossus, that's instant money. So the idea that they don't have any IPs doesn't make sense, and it's just a cop-out for them spending all that fucking money on Concord, or just them not wanting to do that, which I just don't understand. And I genuinely don't understand why they're not releasing any new games or even just announcing anything, because I feel like we haven't really had an era of Sony this entire year where we've gotten a lot of new games announced. Because just my small Kingdom Hearts rant here, I know Kingdom Hearts isn't PlayStation exclusive anymore, but can we get something? Something. Like, they could have at least announced something for Kingdom Hearts 4, but they didn't. Like, we're just not getting anything. And my own little theory is that, like, I feel like Sony isn't really announcing anything. Like, I feel like while this theory doesn't make sense, I feel like they're holding off on everything because of GTA 6 coming out next year. But that's more than likely coming out in like next summer. So I don't know why they're not, announcing anything good for next spring or even this winter. Like, we're not getting anything. We're not getting any good DLCs. We're not getting anything. We're not getting anything new. While if you look at Microsoft and Xbox, it seems like it's the exact opposite. Microsoft is announcing, a new game every other day, it seems like now. They're announcing, Fabled and Dragon Age and all types of brand new games or even remasters. And Xbox Game Pass is a huge success now and is worth it now more than ever. And these games don't even have to be games that like nobody really played, because even if Sony could right now announce that they're just going to remaster a lot of games from the PlayStation 2, and that alone is 10, 20, 30, 100 plus games that they can remaster. Sony could remaster, a Midnight Club Los Angeles, F-Jam Fight for New York, Shadow Colossus, Sly Cooper, God of War 2, like something, any of the old DMC games, anything. They could remaster or remake anything. I just feel like they're choosing not to. And I feel like it's coming from a place of laziness, because Sony has the money and the resources to do these things. They're just not doing it because of reasons, I guess. And this doesn't help that the PS5 Pro is a $700 console that doesn't do anything but just give you slightly better graphics and slightly better ray tracing. It doesn't do anything differently. It doesn't do anything that the PS5 doesn't do already. And it being $700 in this economy does not make any sense to me. The PS5 Pro is $700 for slightly better graphics and nothing else. The only way that this would have been worth it, and I think I saw Maximilian Dude say this, is that the PS5 Pro would have had to been backwards compatible all the way back to the PlayStation 3. In my eyes, it should have been backwards compatible to the fucking PlayStation 2, because $700 for a console with slightly better graphics is not worth it. Because if you're just going to release a console that gives us slightly better graphics, it at the fucking least needs to be like $200-300, and maybe it'll be worth it, maybe slightly. But $700, damn near $800 with tax in some places, is not worth it for slightly better graphics. At that point, you might as well just save us some more money and get a PC for like $1,000. And that being the biggest announcement that we basically got outside of Ghost of Yotei, literally is like, honestly, this is the worst year that I really can think that Sony has had like in forever. I can't really think of another year where we got this less of announcements or just nothing at all, outside of slightly better graphics and slightly better visuals on a console that people already have. And on top of that, the PlayStation 5 doesn't really have that many games or that many exclusives to hold its hat on. It doesn't really have that at all, and it's been out for over 5 years at this point, I think. And at the end of the day, there's just no reason why Sony will lie to our faces about not having any IPs when we know for a fact that they do. They're just being lazy about it. They're not actually going to give us anything that we actually want or anything that we're even asking for. They're just gonna give us remakes of games that came out 2-3 years ago. Like, cause how many Last of Us remakes and remasters have we had? The first Last of Us came out on the PlayStation 3. So I know for a fact that they know that there are other games that people would love to play from the PlayStation 3. Little Big Planet, anything from the PlayStation 3 would be better than another Last of Us remaster. They've been remastering The Last of Us for 2 console generations now. We don't need any more of it.